Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Bros on Air.
Yes, sir.
Uh, you're here with your bros from Philly. Starting with myself, I'm Andre Bracy. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about me. Next, we have Frank Thorne.
What's up?
We also have Daniel Randall.
aka Chief Rattlesnake.
That's right. His name changes almost every episode, so be
That's
prepared
right.
for that.
Wait a minute.
Then
Before
we
we go any
have,
further, he owes us a picture. He knows why.
we'll get on that on another topic, son. Then we have David Hudson with the Eagles paraphernalia on,
Yes,
representing
sir.
the team that's going to win the Super Bowl next week.
Go birds, go birds, go birds.
Right.
Oh man!
I don't know what happened to
So
Vegas.
this was a lot of people. Did he really pull out the Buccaneers? Oh
Hater.
wow!
It's all right.
I know a graveyard. You can take that too. I know a graveyard. You can take that right too. Just put
No, we
it.
can put
Exactly.
this out in the incinerator.
So I know a lot of people have been wondering where we've been. We've been here. We've been in our skin. Life be lifing, and a lot of times, we end up busy doing things. We're all working men. We all have families that we have to take care of. So, sometimes we have to put the more pressing and important things, first, which I think every grown man should. If there are any grown men here that are listening that are not putting their priorities first or the right priorities first, check yourself.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm.
so we were initially going to talk about relationships, but you know, we decided not to because last night, we had such a tragic thing happen, and I think it's on everyone's mind. So we're going to talk about it, the Northeast Philadelphia plane crash. Just to give you some of the details that we already have, on Friday, approximately 6:07 p.m., medical plane carrying two pilots, two medical staff, and two civilians, one who was a minor, crashed in front of Roosevelt Mall on Cottman Avenue. We know that all that were on the plane were killed, but we don't know how many other casualties than those on the plane. We do know that there were at least 19 injured, as reported by the news. I'm sure that many of you have seen everything that's happened. It's kind of crazy how we've all found out. A lot of people did not find out by your local news. Some found out just from online sources, Reddit. Some people found out on neighborhood, but we all found out. We've seen videos. Some were the graphic, unfiltered videos. So I just want to ask, first and foremost, how are you feeling?
Anybody can jump in about that?
You go first
Uh,
since you started.
I
yeah, go,
mean,
Frank. Yeah.
when I heard about it, I was like, wait, you can't be kidding. You got to be kidding me. Not up in the Northeast, out of all places. But after seeing, the video, after seeing it on TV, it looked like just like a plane just went up and just came down, just like got shot out of the air. And the impact of the blow just it did a lot of damage. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is crazy. It can't be. You got like people certain news people are making excuses saying there was ice on the wing. It was not that cold outside. It was cold, but it wasn't like ice rain, from my understanding. I wasn't able to go outside, so I don't know. But I mean, how feels like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah. Just and I didn't know about it until, of course, Drake sent it in the chat, and I
Mm-hmm.
looked, and everybody started posting videos and stuff like that. And I have a lot of family that lives up that way, so I immediately start calling everybody, texting. My brother actually does patrol up there because he's part of the Philly PD. So I called him like immediately. Yo, you good? He said, I'm in the house, man. Sleep. And so, but to know that there's a lot going on right now, per se, and it's like to see these planes just falling out the sky, man. It makes you feel like, are we truly safe to go anywhere if it's not on foot, by car, or train, or whatnot? So it's just like I don't know how to feel for it. It's like, I feel like, of course, distraught because people have lost their lives, people got injured,
Mm-hmm.
or whatnot. So it's just like, but the night before, like early that morning, I felt something weird. I said, don't feel right. It seems like something's like off. And moments, hours later, this happens. So it's just like, you know, yeah, it's just a lot to kind of process, you know, at this one time. So, but
So I know you said you wanted to go last, Steve. So just kind of give you my feeling on it. And I know I mentioned this kind of like on social media, but I'm sitting here working on the computer. Shout out to Pastor Pompey at his new Calvary Baptist Church. And it's
yeah,
funny, I
yeah,
just mentioned his name, and he
Mm.
just texted me.
he
So
gonna live a long time. He gonna live a long time. In the words of my grandmother, he gonna live a long time.
yes, I
Okay,
was
okay,
working on
okay.
his computer, and I heard my wife shout out, there was a crash there at the mall, and I heard it, and I'm like, okay, I didn't see it on the news or anything, so I looked. She said she saw it on Reddit, so then I looked and I saw it. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So the first thing I thought of was my son. My son, he works at the Macy's, which is right across from where everything was happening. So I kind of just jumped right into that mood. Got my coat and was leaving out the door, to go pick him up. And then I said, hold on, wait a minute, let me take someone, So my wife came, and AJ came. They got in the car because he has his car there, but because I know that it's going to be a crazy scene. I wasn't sure if he was going to be how he was going to feel about driving or anything. If he was going to be distraught, I know he FaceTimed us around the same time, and he sounded very panicked, very distraught. So I didn't like that sound. So I mean, hopped in the car, ran a couple red lights, stop signs, and I got there and I told him to
Just
go
basically
around the
being Speed
back way.
Racer.
Exactly.
Hmm.
I told him to go around the back way because that's probably going to be the only way that you can get out. But
Hmm.
that being the only way, that was the only way for a lot of people. So I was able to park in the parking lot of the Target near where, the the mall, the mall is right there by where the not Planet Fitness, but the LA Fitness is. So
Hmm.
I hopped out the car. We went over, and just as we were walking up, we saw him, driving in the car, and we got the cop yelling at him, trying to get him to go, but he couldn't go because the other cars wasn't go. So I yelled at the cop, said, "Chills, that's my son."
Mm.
And then the cops started yelling at me. I'm like, look, man, that's my son in the car. He's going to go. And then he was like, so don't tell me. I'm like, look, respectfully speaking, okay, that's my son. My wife, by this time, she got him out of the driver's seat, got in the driver's seat, and she was able just to kind of park the vehicle to the side. It was
Mm.
him and his coworker. Then the cop went on to navigate in the traffic since the police officer that was behind him that was trying to get past, was past. So then we walk over to the car, and then from there I navigated to the Burger King on Cottman Avenue.
Hmm.
Um, and we let out his coworker, so she can get an Uber, and she was fine. Everything was fine. I got home, and I just was trying to process, what I was feeling. I was running on just kind of pure adrenaline, because I knew what was going on. I knew the scene was going to be crazy because of the accident, but also, that anything could happen. People were going to be off, and I just didn't want anything to happen or to happen further to my son. So I was worried. I was a dad, felt like I was invincible. I could fight anyone at that moment. And I just really had to kind of just calm down and just kind of
Yeah,
take it all in.
Hmm.
But it was crazy because, I mean, I went through so many emotions, all at one time. And I think once I started to kind of process not just my feelings and my emotions, but wow, people actually just lost their life, in a plane crash. Something that you would never have imagined happening. Mind you, we just saw a plane crash where a chopper just ran into a flight where 60 lost their lives. But we never expected something like this to happen. So, like I said, I was going through a lot of emotions, and then after the fact, a lot more emotions, and I'm sure that once we actually get the actual total of how many actually lost their lives, we're probably going to feel that as well, and a lot of other people. So, yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm feeling at the moment.
Dave, you got the floor, bro.
All right. Cool. All right. First, I want to say because I asked to go last because I didn't want to. I'll say my feelings, but like my condolences to the people who lost their lives and people who was
Definitely.
injured and different things like that. I do feel they hurt and I do feel for them and their families. I pray that their families get the condolences and get all the love so they can help the healing process. For me, I felt a different type of way. It was kind of like I expected it, so sort of. And I'm gonna explain a little bit because like the
Hmm.
season that I'm in currently at right now, I've just been and like a real praying and just seeing different things kind of. I'm not trying to be real super deep, but this is the season
Hmm.
I'm in right now is just
Hmm.
from the passing of like my brother-in-law and just dealing with different things like that, and then so I had somebody else that passed, but just dealing in the season I'm in now, I've just been in a place where I just been praying and just being able to just see things in the spirit and see things happen. So for me it was like it happened and I was just like, you know, it's something that we're gonna. I mean, it's more to come. I'm not trying to even be deep, like, but these are the
It ain't
things
being
that
deep, just
that are
Bible.
going to happen, right?
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are things that's
yeah.
going to happen.
Shout
We're
out,
gonna.
definitely.
It's gonna be a lot of things that's going to happen. That's going to be even stranger. Every day we turn on the news and it's something weirder and weirder that we so-called call
Yeah.
weird. It happens every day,
Hmm.
and only reference I have to go back to is my biblical reference that tells me that these stranger things are going to happen in the land that we live, and that's what I have to go by, and that's what. And like I said, I'm not trying to be deep, but this is what. If it's no need to live or quote Bible scriptures if you don't carry the principles of what's inside of it and believe of what's
Hmm.
in it, and biblically it tells us that these things are going
100%
to
correct.
happen, and a lot of times we haven't been seeing all these things up close and personal. These are things that have been happening in other countries. So we see it from afar, but now it's on our homeland now. It's
Hmm.
Yeah.
close to us. So now we're like, oh, we're running around, this and that and that. And I'm not saying don't do that. That's a natural feeling to feel. But at the same
Right.
time, we got to get back to our rooted and grounded foundation, was supposed to be the biblical structure, excuse me, our guidance of what we believe. So
Right.
for me, like I said, I'm not
Right.
trying to be deep, but the season I'm in is had me to navigate and to just see these things and not to panic, but just to be in the realm of just like I'm praying for these people, I'm praying for these, and now I'm trying to get spiritually ready for what's next. We like a lot of people were talking about how I'm not trying to get in the political realm, but a lot of people talking about how
Hmm.
Trump got in office and now we expect all these crazy things. Before he even got in office, I already expected
A
crazy
lot of
things.
crazy things are happening
Yeah, I already
before.
Crazy
expected
things was
crazy
going
things to happen.
crazy anyway.
So the fact that he's in office now, I'm of course we're gonna see even more crazy things. The only difference is he's more open about the crazy things he do. We don't the crazy things that's behind the scene. We don't see a lot of stuff till it becomes upfront and personal into our world. So,
Yeah.
but Trump is more out in the open about what he's gonna do if he does it or not. So that's the only difference in my view. But to me, I didn't. It wasn't as shocking to me. It was like now I just got to get more prepared mentally and more into even more into my Bible and more into my faith of believing what I
Yeah.
believe and what we claim to believe. Like I
Hmm.
said, there's no need to say we believe in these things and we
Yeah.
don't buckle down when things happen. When things happen, this is our root and our foundation of what we claim. So we gotta believe in the same way we believe in sitting in a chair.
Hmm.
That's using our faith and sitting in the chair. We believe this chair is gonna hold us up. The same way we get in our cars, thinking our car is gonna take us anywhere. We believing in something. But now these things is happening on a home front. Like I said, you got people going in churches shooting. You got people robbing churches. You got that's stuff that we
Hmm.
never ever heard of. And it's a lot of
Ever.
stuff is happening. And every day you hear
Crazy,
about
man.
every
Crazy.
day you hear about killings. And before when I used to be in the hood back in the day, I heard about killings that never made the news. But now you got
Yeah.
even more. You got what, three or four shootings on the news every day, daily, and that's not even including the shootings
And
that I hear on the
and
streets.
You
exactly.
got you mean you
Yeah.
got like 3 or 4 shootings in like 1 hour, or like what I'm saying, because
And
new
in broad
every time.
daylight, used to be
Exactly.
stuff happen in the evening time toward the night.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Now,
they don't even care no more
yeah,
at this
they
point.
don't even care no more.
Like,
Yeah,
No,
it could be eight
nobody
o'clock
cares,
in the
man.
morning. You be like, guy get shot up at a breakfast stand eating an egg McMuffin sandwich. Like,
Yeah.
it's like so. It's a lot of stuff. You got the guy who got shot. What his mom, the guy that plays sports. And they ambushed him at his house. So people
Who
don't.
was
Well, people
this?
haven't been caring anymore. This was recently. The guy. I think he was He was an athlete, and it was on the news a couple weeks ago. There's so many killings that you don't even know about the next story because the
Yeah.
next story
Oh
happened.
my
And what's
goodness.
But yeah,
and what's so sad is that like it's funny that you mentioned that. Is that like how it used to be take like you'd be so taken aback by it. Now it's just like it's the new normal.
yeah,
Hmm.
Somebody's
Hmm.
gonna get killed
and it's a
today. This
shame
is gonna
when
happen. So
you're right, and it's a shame when we normalize when it's normalized. Killings are normalized now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's nullifying our mind where we sort of like
So
expecting to happen. Like, oh, who got shot today? Who got killed today?
You
But
know,
so
it,
while we
that's
what
what's going on.
was funny for me to say,
yeah,
just to
hold
make,
on
just to,
before you go on. While we're here, and Dave just brought up something, and I think it's very important to discuss. And honestly, I think that Dave actually covered, the second question that we were going to pitch. But there was a friend of mine who posted something, and it kind of, I don't know, it resonated with me. Not necessarily for the message that it was presenting, but basically
mm,
he said something to the tune of, you know, he doesn't care about the plane crash. He was like, there's people dying every day on the streets of Philadelphia. And,
hmm
so many people they're so concerned about this thing that just happened. Then they were concerned about the aircraft that just crashed, a couple of days ago. And then they were concerned about something that happened 2 weeks after that. It's like, but those same people aren't fully concerned about all the things that happen every day on the streets of Philadelphia.
hmm
So it kind of brings into this conversation that we're talking about, about all the things. Are we as a people, becoming numb to the violence that is
mm,
happening right around us?
we are, because Dan, you made a good point. Like, back in the day when you would hear about it, you'd be like, oh man, kind of shocking. But like it became normalized now, because that's what I mean. You turn the news on, the first thing you hear, somebody got shot. First thing you hear, somebody got robbed. First thing you hear, it's just, I mean, it's like the new norm of every day. And it's kind of funny because I don't know if you guys seen the movie The Purge. It's kind of like The Purge, and you made a good point, Dre. Like, some people need to worry about what's going on in the city. Yeah, that plane crash that happened, it happened. But like, let's look at what's really going on within our city that really should get our major attention. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even walk out. Like, you walk out the door, you gotta watch. You gotta make sure you got a bulletproof vest on and a Kevlar helmet, because God only knows what's going to happen. You don't know if a bullet's going to fly, and bullets don't have names. No gun has a name. You know what I mean? I mean, the gun may have a title of M9 or whatever, but them bullets that's in them guns, they don't have names. So whatever they hit, they're going to hit.
Hmm. Very true.
yeah, that's true. And it's funny. Like I always used to watch the news. Still watch it every now and again, but it used to be like the first 5 minutes of the news. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
like the first 15, 20 minutes. You're like, good
No,
lord, like it's that much going on,
yeah. As
and
soon
it's
as
it's it's
Hmm.
really mind boggling.
Yeah, as soon as you turn the TV on, it's a killing. Like, what in the world? Like, can we talk about something different? That's why I would rather watch Sports Center or NBC's or Comcast Sportsnet. When I be, I mean, I'd rather watch that than watch the regular news. I stopped watching MSNBC because every time you turn around, it's always something about a killing. Like, people get tired of hearing that, but like you said, it became the new norm. So it's more like, okay, who got killed today? What happened?
Hmm.
That's the
But
questions we asking.
that's the thing about our culture. Not our
Hmm.
culture like black people culture, but the culture that gravitates around the news. That they have also gravitated to even the killings that they are actually promoting what's going
Mm-hmm.
on. That's why the top 15, 20 minutes is about killings and plane crashes and
Mm-hmm.
all that, because that's the thing that catch people eye. That's the thing that have people nervous and different things like that, but it also grabs people to watch and pay attention to. So that's why the first 10, 15 minutes is about all that, because people are turning on the news so they can see, oh, some people say they don't want to see it, but they turn it on, and then, oh, let me see who got, and this happened, that
Yeah.
happened, that happened, and they know it because they watch their ratings go up. So now they keep putting this stuff on, promoting what's going on
Hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
city. So and that's what
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people gravitate to too. It also is training the minds to get used to this stuff. So it's like, if you want to change, you gotta change all the way around. It's like, it's not just, that. But just like I said, just like you said, like you got to pay attention to the stuff, not just the plane crash, like, and pay attention to the people. It's not just like the homeless people. It's a lot of stuff going on in our system. It's the educational system. It's the thing about the
Yeah.
men and our fathers. It's about training them up, about training
Hmm.
young men up. It's about taking these guns off the street. It's about finding out how they
Right.
even get in here in the first place. It's about taking
Yep.
the drugs off the streets. It's about healing the broken families that's involved, that's been affected by drugs. It's about supporting the single mother. It's about supporting the family that's even trying to get back together, supporting the father who lost
Hmm.
his way and spiral on downward. It's about all these things that you see, if we're not paying attention too much to, or not targeting an effect. Well, you seeing the effects in our community and also in the
Hmm.
world.
Well, like you
Hmm.
said, you said it best, Dave. Like we need to really start targeting the communities that are actually affected by the different things that's going on. Like you mentioned, the single mothers, single fathers. You mentioned in like getting the guns and the drugs off the streets. Like I mean, the old ways, the old community from when we came from. I'm talking about all four of us. They had our backs. You look at the communities now. You'd be surprised if one neighbor's looking out for one person.
Well, a lot of them scared too, though, because of the youth.
Exactly.
See, it's different time frame. It used to be the people could say something to the youth, and the youth would accept that, even if, regardless if they did it or not, they would at least accept that advice. But now
Hmm.
you can't even say anything to the youth because they get so pointed, they get upset. Well, they ready to target you for saying something, and
Pretty
you be the
much.
next one on a chopping block.
Yeah.
You
You
can't even
know.
you can't even say hi to them
Yeah,
Right.
without them
because
getting all riled up.
you be surprised as soon as you say hello to them. They be like, "Yo, what's up, old head? Like you talking to me? What you got to say?" And they'll be like, oh, "Damn, I was just saying
Why you
hello to
being
you." And
why
then
you
they're ready to
being
pull
so
a gun
nice,
out.
man?
Exactly. Like, yeah, I'm ready
I,
to pull.
I just said what's up. I just said
And they're
what's up,
branding,
cuz. Like,
and
Why
that's
you
the
being
thing.
so
like,
They're just
nice?
they're branding their gun. And it's like, yo, young boy. I'm just saying hello. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. But man, you true. Today's youth is crazy.
But it's
hmm
like they're always on go because there's so many things happening,
Hmm.
and they're becoming desensitized to a lot of things as well.
True.
Um, I'll never forget when I was growing up. It's like having a gun and the possibility of actually committing murder. Was kind of like one of those. Yeah, I hope I don't have to get to that point. Whereas now, you know what? I've already done it like 1,001 times. So I'm just gonna have to do it again because this
Mm,
is just the way of life right now, and it shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. There shouldn't
exactly.
be so many kids that are just so willing to just pull a trigger without
hmm
thinking about what happens afterwards.
But why is that? And the fact that I ask why is that? Because it's always a cause. It's always a reason, a root to a thing. And in my opinion, it's like the root to the why they don't have no conscience to it. It's a lot of them out there hurt. It's a lot of them out there being affected by broken families, broken homes,
Exactly. Dave, you just took the word out of my mouth.
and their dreams being crushed. A lot of
Hmm.
you know what it's like when your dream is crushed. When your dream is crushed, you don't care anymore. You feel like your purpose is not even worth it. So now you're angry, and then you angry at different people who might have potential, that you see potential to go places. But a lot of them
Yep.
out there
Hmm.
angry. Yeah, they angry as I don't know
Well,
what.
like you said earlier, Dave, is about the broken homes. Like a lot of these fathers, there's fathers that's not in the homes. So you got these young men and or young women out here just doing whatever they want, and it's more like if I think if more black men, not even just black men, but more men, black, white, Chinese, Indian, I don't care, if they was more involved in their kids' lives, you'd be surprised about how they would respond and react. You know what I'm saying? I
That's
mean,
that
like you
that's
said,
true, but not to cut you
exactly.
off. But the flip side of that is
Mm-hmm.
some of the men that walked away from the homes are broken themselves. They didn't know how to be a father, and they
hmm
were broken
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So that's why I said a
Right.
lot of times you gotta retrain and even heal the broken part of the man that walked away from the other part. It's like you gotta do a 3-part healing to the
Mm-hmm.
generations, because if
Mm-hmm.
not, like you're not gonna be able to totally heal everybody. But that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, and it takes the effort from everybody to put into that. Because you got the broken child, you got the broken man who walked away, and then the other man was even broken from whatever he went to, and whatever he went through. So now you got
Right.
these broken people making broken people, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
doing any better, because broken people can't heal another broken person unless they put the work in to heal themselves. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I
I
mean, if
agree.
And
we,
I truly
and
agree.
that's me speaking from being an example, because I remember when I had to be a father to my kids, I didn't have the stuff to give to my kids. I didn't have the mentorship and all that to give to them. So you know what I did? I had to put myself aside, and I said, you know what? I gotta find somebody to mentor me to get what I need so I can give to them.
Yep.
And that's
yeah,
exactly what I
And
did. As I was getting it, I had to give it to them, and I had to do it fast because kids are little recorders. They record everything you do. They look at
yep,
everything you do. They
yes, they do.
imitate
Yes, they
you,
do. Yes, they do.
especially when you do that.
Mhm.
So for me, I had to hurry up, get what I needed to give to them, so they can be in a better position. I
yeah,
like, and I'm not even trying to put a shout out to the book, but in my book, I point out about children
Plug.
kids are like arrows. Children like arrows, and how you point and how you point them in a direction is also like, it's like pointing them in the right place toward their goal. It's like also like, it's like if I point a kid downward, I'm not saying he's gonna not achieve his goal, but it's gonna take him longer to
Hmm.
reach it
yeah,
because he was not pointed in the right successful direction.
Hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just like you, one real quick. When I became a father, I was only 18. My son was born when I was still in high school. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what to do. I mean, of course, I came from an abusive home, so I had to really, like you said, Dave, hurry up and get it right. Like, okay, now I have more kids, and I got to continue getting it right. What I give to the, what I was given, give it to them. Because again, I had to find different role models. Shout out to like Mr. Butler, Stan from Strawberry Mansion. The different men from Strawberry Mansion that really took us underneath their wing, and the ones that knew what kind of situations we were in at home, they helped us get through it. I mean, I'm a product of that because, like I said, now I have all five of my children doing well. Frankie's doing great. He's in sixth grade, doing awesome. And the fact that I'm very involved I was involved in all their lives. Andre was involved in my oldest son's life. So he had Andre, Dave. I know probably know my oldest son, Lamar.
Hmm.
He had Dan. So I knew that I had, when I wasn't there, you guys had my back to have him. So therefore, what I'm saying, he learned something. And that's what I think that most men in today's society should have. You should have that, that other person that's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to help you, okay, because I'm going to help you with your son, because like they said, a village should take care. The village is supposed to take care of the children. You know what I mean? And the Bible does says raise a child in the way he should go, and when he get old, he won't depart from that training. A lot of us was raised in a way that, yeah, we had some issues, broken issues, whatever. But guess what? We broke the generational curse of those different issues. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like whether some of us came from abuse, drug addiction, whatever. But it's a constant everyday thing to break that generational curse that was put upon us, so that way the next generation we have won't have that curse, because it's already established that there's a new type of regime or new type of something that's going on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
see
Yep.
myself, I've always been an observer and I
Mm-hmm.
see everything.
Mm-hmm.
I see what's going on and I see what's actually not going on. So it's like all my life, it's like I just kind of just sat and took notes on everything. And it's like where some grew up with an actual father, it's like, I grew up with, father figures that weren't
Mm-hmm.
even always my father, you know. But what I did was that, I took notes. You know, I would just kind of have a bucket that I just had, and I would see something that I liked from one spot, and I just put it in that bucket. Saw something from another
I mean,
spot,
give us a demonstration.
put
I
it in
love it.
that
Give us
bucket.
a demonstration.
Saw something else, and I put it in that bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Saw something else that I thought would be good for my tool set, and put it in that bucket.
Yeah.
So that at some point when I became a parent, I was able to say, you know what? I remember when Cosmo taught me this, so I'm gonna use this here.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
remember when this person here, who was my mom's friend, showed me this, and I'm just going to use this here. I remember when Deacon, Williams, he showed me this, and I'm going to use this right here. So it's like I had all these tools that I just kind of just been collecting, and it's like
You
I
used
did
all the
not
tools.
know that I would need. any of those things. But yet, because I was collecting those things and just remembering, I was able to utilize those to kind of raise my kids. I mean,
Yep.
I also, said, hey, God, I have no clue what I'm doing. So I need you to show me. Not necessarily show me who I can pattern myself after, but show me who I need to be for this situation right here.
Right.
Toolbox.
You used
Hmm.
all the
And I
tools in your
think that
toolbox.
everyone has to be able to do that as well.
Yeah, you used every
Because
tool
like
in
I
the
said,
toolbox.
we all have different stories, but we all ended up in a pretty decent place
Yes, we did.
Yep.
as fathers and men. Now it is up to us to help others. And as I was trying to say earlier, as though we always talk about the guy, the lesson where, you teach him, you give a man the fish, go eat for a day. But if you teach a man the fish,
He'll
you
eat for a
know,
lifetime.
he'll eat for a lifetime. Now, we never really go and think about this guy, who this man is, and the things that he was going through because, he's hungry and he's disappointed. He's hurting,
Mm.
because he doesn't have anything. And, people are just giving him fish. Okay, you're giving me something. You're giving me something. But, it's like you're taking care of my now, but you're not
Hmm.
taking care of my later. So if someone came and gave this man not only enough for now, but also enough for later. So this man learned how to fish. So you know what happened? And this is the part that no one ever talks about. This man who now knows how to fish can provide for others, and now he can teach others how to
Mm-hmm.
fish. So now instead of one fisherman, you have 10
Many
fishermen,
fishermen. Right.
you know,
You got several.
And mind you, when you have more than one fisherman, I mean, you got more tools, you got more responsibilities. You might actually have a boat now, and you
Hmm.
might have nets. You might have more tools, so you're fishing, you know, for a lot more fish than you were before. Now, you got to do something with all this fish that you have. So now you got manufacturers, who are manufacturing fish, selling fish. So
Hmm.
just because one person actually went and showed one person how to fish, he helped heal this man and help him to heal others and then help others to heal others. And it just keeps going on and on and on. It's like we have to be just like that and
Mm-hmm.
be able to mentor and teach others, show them how to be healed, how to live healed, so that they can go and replicate exactly what we've done in their own way to
Absolutely.
other people.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hmm.
But as far as that plane crash and the other plane crash that happened down in DC, like Dre, you made a good point. Like, I mean, a lot of people's blaming this on Trump. Let's throw that out there. Because if you wouldn't, because you fired the head person of the FAA, you firing all these federal employees, and like the federal employees is what makes the country work. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden, here's planes. Because I had somebody tell me the other day, they kept seeing a bunch of planes flying so super low, and I'm like,
Hmm.
why? Again, my personal thing is this is the president, but yet as soon as he came aboard, it's just been nothing but on like just a circus. It's been just nothing but chaos after chaos after chaos after chaos after chaos. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And for me, it's just like, even with the one that happened in DC, it was just like one. And I also, I'm not too sure how they said that they just rolled out, what is it? It was on the internet somewhere. Lockheed Martin just introduced their autonomous Black Hawks. So they're saying that that was the case as well, whereas though they said that they talked to somebody in the plane, but I'm like, you can talk to somebody inside of the cockpit if someone's not there, if they're just remotely controlling it. Yeah, we see it, but once again, and I told somebody earlier, I said, if you're a human has a more better chance of reacting quicker than something that's
Yeah.
autonomous,
Mm-hmm.
because they got to think like, okay, what's the best possible solution? I got to calculate all these things, where so I don't have
Hmm.
a minute to calculate. I have to just move and react quickly,
Right.
And it's just like that's one, and then it's like I also told somebody else like I wouldn't be surprised with of course it's given like 9/11. That's what it's given. That's just my personal opinion.
9/11 ain't
Um,
the 9/11 ain't the word.
of course, D.C., the Pentagon, then in Shanksville, and then New York. It's
Mm-hmm.
happening in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
D.C., Pennsylvania, Philadelphia with the plane crash. I
Hmm.
wouldn't be surprised within the coming days you see something happen in New York with a park.
I wouldn't be too surprised either.
I hope
And
not.
it's just like, you know, we have to and people have to really like pay attention. As my dad always tells me, you know, no matter what car I'm working on, son, pay attention to the details. Because if you're moving too quick, you're only looking at the main thing. You done missed the bolt. You done missed the screw.
Yep.
All the stuff that's supposed to hold everything together, you done missed it because you're trying to hurry up and just look at the
Get
bigger
it.
picture. No, no, no. I gotta see what's going on. Why is this happening here? And like you said earlier, what's happening in the city? What's going here on here? What's this law being instituted here? But yet we're looking at the
What's
bigger picture
going
of things that are
on?
happening.
And that's funny, Dave. Dan, because yet Andre can tell you, anybody can tell you. That's the one thing I tell my kids because I learned that from the army. Pay attention to detail. Because again, if you move too fast, you're gonna miss something. And yet, the way that the world is moving, I guess Donald Trump's trying to have the world move so fast so that we won't see what he's doing. But we're taking that time,
Yeah,
like he's trying to put tariffs on Canada, China, and again, the man barely said anything about either. I think he talked about the DC crash. He has yet to say something about what
first of
happened
all,
in Philly.
he talk about stuff.
He did,
He talk
but
about like,
it wasn't.
you know,
It it was
Obama
basically a
and Biden
rehash of everything that happened. So
and the Democrats, they all caused all these problems. And then going to
No,
ask other people, are you going to go to the scene? What do you want to go for a swim? Sir, that's very inconsiderate. Like, what?
I got I got
Like,
one
come on.
better. Listen, he blames everything. Listen, this is funny. He said this is Biden, Obama, and DEI's fault. I'm like, are you
Yes,
serious?
sir.
Are
We're
you
not looking
kidding me
for
right
you to
now?
point the blame. We're trying to figure out what happened. What are we going to do to prevent this? And you're
Mm,
blaming and coming up with other things
uh,
and stuff that makes absolutely
this
no sense.
is
no sense at all.
this is
What are we going to do about this?
presidential gaslighting at its finest.
Yes, it is. Listen, the
Extreme.
man, he's a modern day Hitler. Let's be real. He's the modern day Hitler of 2025.
But
You
should we
know,
be
we could talk
surprised
about
by that? I mean, you could talk
yeah,
about him all day long. He
Yeah, but
exactly.
gonna
that
do
plane
that.
crash is just like more so we have to be aware and see what's really going on. Because it's like, I could see if it was like, okay, this happened today. The one in the DC happened. All right, but cool. Then like 2 months down the line, all right, something going on. But almost back to back simultaneously, it is
Mm-hmm.
insane.
It's
Like,
mind
But the
blowing.
real flip side that people talking about in the background is that the one that happened on the yesterday, the one that happened on the
Yeah.
boulevard, that they
Mm.
were supposed to be the patients were supposed to be of like Mexican descent. So people was talking something about that too. Like maybe, of course, like see people I'm gonna say
Mm.
that like, oh, maybe Trump did something to their plane or something, I'm like, I don't know.
now, and then I also heard that they told him to go right and he went left. The pilot.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. It's all these things out there. We gonna hear 100 stories before
We may never
as
know
Yeah,
the truth
We
come
may
out. We
never
may
know the
never
truth about
know,
the whole
may
situation.
never know.
because
But at
that
the
that's
end of the
that's
day,
above
right.
our pay grade.
right?
Right,
Because at
right.
That's
the end of
above
the
our pay
day,
grade.
yeah, because like at the end of the day, I had my family from Georgia calling me. Yo, you okay? Like, I don't live on that side of town, but I mean, Andre, I called you yesterday. The first thing I asked was, "What's up with my nephew?" You know what I'm saying? Colin Good. Like when you told me, I'm like, wait. I was about to get in my car and go up there. Like, yo, what's going on? My daughter, who works up there, she's like, Dad, I was working around the corner. She's like, I saw the explosion. Wait,
Hmm.
what? Like, I'm like, again, everybody keep. I mean, just people need to really pay attention to what's really going on.
Mhm.
Pay attention. Look at what's really look at if you pay attention to the news, you look at everything. You said it earlier, Dave. He's putting it out there. It's already out there. He's telling us what he's going to do. Yo, just in this time and season, we got to, for the next 4 years, we got to stay on our knees and keep praying. We got to.
Actually, we should have been doing it, from day
Yeah,
one.
But the
from
funny
the
part about
start.
it, why's it got to take a natural
Because the thing
disaster
is,
or something of this
uh,
nature
let's
for people
let's
to
let's
really get on their
let's
knees?
let's let's, let's just be totally honest. It's like
Mm,
didn't matter if it was Biden, Trump, or Obama.
mm.
We always should be on our knees
We
praying.
should. We definitely
You
should.
know,
We
the
definitely
fact
should.
that Trump is in office, doesn't necessarily change that.
Right.
We should always be, doing those things.
Right.
Um,
And I think I told you this either maybe a few days ago or I said this a while back. I said, "Yo, we about to have COVID all over again." Because every time every time I go into the hospital, they're telling you got to mask up. Wait. Are you serious?
So there are stories now going around that
Mm-hmm.
because of so many of the lax policies and things and the things that are changing, that there are a couple things that are happening, like the bird flu. There's I think like a I'm not sure if it's smallpox or something else, but there's a couple of outbreaks that are happening around the country to the point where they could become national. And the sad part about all of this is that because of all the changes and things that are happening with Trump, changing the administration and the heads, it's like they're not being reported. No one's paying attention to it because they're already seeing it's the highlights that he's putting out. Just yesterday at the Pentagon, all of the news stations, like and newspapers who had actual offices in the Pentagon, they got kicked out because now they want to put the news that they agree with in those offices. Now, mind you,
Wow.
these are offices that were
Wild.
put there so that the news could get distributed equally around the nation. New York Times, L.A. Times, and a few others. Um, just so that when they get the news, they can share it with their division so that everyone can have the same news. But now you're going to put news that favors only what you want them to favor or those that fall in line with you and your policies.
You,
So that is going to have an effect. All of this is going to have an effect on all of us at some point.
mm-hmm.
Um, we actually may get to the point where we might have another type of pandemic. Um,
I pray we
and
don't.
You
we,
can
we
have another one.
really
I
don't we
hear you.
really don't know.
You can have
What's
another
that?
one, Dre.
Pandemic.
Mm.
It's
And
possible.
it's funny, and it's funny that you mentioned that far as like with them controlling what we see, and that's where it boils down to.
Hmm.
But they kind of already do that, like in China, where so they censor what they can watch. They tell you what you can watch, what's approved, what's not approved. Um, so it's just like
Hmm.
that. And I feel like that's where it's. Like I said, I might be going to that part, part of the pandemic. Um, things being censored and only streamlined that you only could do
Yeah.
this, you can only do that.
Now
But here's the
Prime
you
kicker.
example,
saw
TikTok.
But here's the
you
kicker.
saw the
Watch this.
uproar that happened with TikTok,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's funny because we just said, you know what, we're not going to do it. But in China, pretty much almost everything that we enjoy right now, they can't enjoy it at all.
And here's the funny part. I'm quite sure we've all been to the movies. We've all seen different movies. The movie, I think it was The Running Man, where in The Running Man, certain things was approved to watch, and other things wasn't approved to watch. The news
Hmm.
syndicate was, this is what the news had to report, and the news didn't report that. Or like the movie The Demolition Man. You know, again, the same thing. What was being censored for TV? What was not being censored for TV?
hmm
Or like you couldn't, or like they had laws where you couldn't say a swear word. You say a swear
How
word, you
the
got
hell
demerit.
did Taco Bell become the #1 restaurant?
Exactly. You know
That
what I'm saying?
still
Like,
puzzles
but
me.
but the possibility of that right now is starting to happen. The possibilities of that starting to happen. Like it's crazy.
man, a taco don't sound
The
too bad
only
right now.
music that they could play is old commercials.
Yes. Like, come on, man. And
Okay,
like
that's no. I'm a Demolition Man fan, so I apologize.
and
And
like you said,
speaking
like
of the Running Man, they're coming out with they're redoing it, so that's coming out I think this year.
I heard. I want to know. I've seen like different clips for it, but I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen.
Dre, just build a
So
time
before
machine.
we,
Let's go back to the
uh,
90s. Just build a time machine. Let's go back to the 90s. It was a simpler time, okay? Jesus Christ.
so before we get off topic, just let's go back for like 1 second, touch on it, and then we can go anywhere we want. But all of this, that's been happening with the airplanes, the crashes. How is it affecting people's morale while flying right now?
It's definitely about to affect a lot of stuff. I was just talking to my sister because she just planned a trip for her birthday this month, and she was like, "I think I might have a little anxiety, like flying out. I think I might drive
Hmm.
to where we about to leave from or catch the train or this, that, and the third." Um, yeah, it's definitely going to affect a lot of people from doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, we can have all the faith that we want to, we can pray
Hmm.
as much as we want to, but that human nature in us, like, yo, I'm scared because I don't know what may happen. And
Hmm.
it's just like, and I almost see like right now. ticket sales is going to be cheap. They're going to try to get promotion, but people going to be too scared to fly. They don't want to go
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. It's not like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
can drive my car, I can catch a bus or a train or something like that. And it's just like it's going to get scary. You know, like it's not going to be as much as like people. Yes, they gonna have people still going to be flying, but it's not going to be at like an alarming rate. Like, oh my god, I got to get to the airport super early. Like you'll be able
Hmm.
to get to the airport going forward. Like, all right, that cool. Everybody going to be here. I can get through TSA quickly. You know,
But think about it. Think about 9/11. Remember when 9/11 happened? It's the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? People scared to fly. But then TSA had to like make their requirements extreme much stricter. Like you had to nearly get undressed just to get on a plane.
yeah, and it's just like it's one of those things. Like it's definitely going to affect a lot of people
A
because
lot
you
of
know
people.
people we have people who aren't as strong as us for it, or a lot of other people that we know. Like you know what,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna trust God. People like I'm straight. I'm not flying no more. Like they are people have already
Yeah.
made in their minds. I'm no longer flying. If I can't get there by car, train, or foot, I'm not going. But it's just like
Well, let me
it's
ask
just
you guys.
it's,
I put a
uh,
question. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead and finish your statement because I was going to ask a question for all you bros.
I will say it's definitely going to take some like it's going to take some time for people to start trusting, of course, the aviation aspect going forward.
Hmm.
People still gonna fly, but like I said, it's gonna take a lot of trust with a lot of people to say, you know what, I'll trust flying again, but just not right now. So,
Yeah, like my question is like you said, basically said if you can't get there by bus, train, car, or foot, you're not going. Like the question I have for you guys, like let's just say for the let's take argument, you have to go somewhere like North Carolina, Florida, whatever. Would you rather drive, take a train, take the bus? I mean, again, Andre clowned me a couple years ago when I drove all the way from Philadelphia to Texas, and I got clowned for it. It was funny, but I had fun.
I mean, that is a drop though.
Hey, listen, I had fun with that drive. I'm trying to tell you, I was by myself and I
That
had
was
a
a
good
long
time.
drive.
I had fun.
That's a
And
heck
listen,
of a drop.
listen, I had fun. Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. I had fun with that drive, but Arkansas will always, always, forever be in the forefront of my mind because that was funny.
I mean, if I got to drive, I mean, I've driven to North Carolina, I've driven from Florida,
Mm-hmm.
we've driven from Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just one of those things that like if you're gonna do that, just plan accordingly. If you're going, want people to say I'm going to drive or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
that's what it really boils down to. But it's just like if I know for me, I ain't flying nowhere no time soon, amen. But I'm not in a rush to go say, you know what, I'm gonna go fly the plane. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
test my faith. No, I'm gonna be
What
wise.
about
The Lord gave me wisdom, amen. I'm keep these 2 feet on the ground
Amen?
in my little car, amen. If
What
I need
say
to catch
you,
a
Dave?
Greyhound, I'll catch a Greyhound.
What say you, Dave?
For me, I mean, I heard about people saying different things. Of course, when you have events like this, it brings back old trauma, just like when
Hmm.
people had trauma in different relationships or different things like that. But it brings back more trauma because it brings back people who was affected by things like 9/11 and different things like that. So I heard a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people saying they wasn't flying or they wasn't doing this, and they even my wife even mentioned about we supposed to fly to Texas, but she was talking about she don't know now. But it just affects people in different ways. But like I said, for me, I gotta go back to my foundation, and
Hmm.
like I said, for me, I like First Peter 4:12. I'm not trying to preach to y'all. First Peter 4:12 says, "Beloved, it said, thinking not strange concerning
Beloved.
like the fiery trial, which is to try you as though some strange things had happened unto you."
Wow, wow, wow.
And my
Tell it,
thing is
tell
like
it, tell it,
my thing is like
tell it, tell it.
for me, I got to go back to the foundation. This world is going to be crazy. People, like I said, people are just now getting in tune to certain things because now it's on our soil. It's affecting our soil. It's things that happen on
Mm-hmm.
soil. So now people
Mm.
are more
Yes,
in
sir.
touch and more in tune to things. But stuff been happening overseas all day long. People bombing this, bombing that. There used to people bombing like hospitals and stuff like that over there. Like children with AKs and stuff like that. Shooting
Yep.
up over there is more real and they're more in tune. But now since it's on our soil and it's on our homeland now everybody is like, like this person like running with chickens with their head cut off. So it's like now people running around like, oh, what we gonna do and this and that, and they panicking. And I'm not clowning the people who are doing that because for some people that's a natural reaction, and some people they're
yeah,
just more affected by certain things emotionally by other things. But it go back to what I was saying. You got to go back, and I'm not saying like I don't have some type of afraidness, but at the end of the day, I got to go back to what I believe. You know, there's no need, right?
mhm,
There's no need to touch this thing. There's no
I
need
love
to
that
touch
book.
this
I love
thing
that book.
yeah,
if I don't believe in this thing. It's no need to
Hmm.
quote these scriptures if I don't believe in it. It's no need to
right,
say these things and to tell people to be in Christ and do and all that stuff like that. If I don't get in touch with Christ myself and get in touch with God
That's it.
That's
you
all.
know
That's
to
that's
do
where it
these
goes. That's
things
where it is.
to
That's where it
believe in
is.
these things. So for me, yeah, the planes are going to crash and different things like that. I'm going to pray so He can give me the smart route and prayerfully I take that route.
yeah,
I take the route that need to go so I can go there safely.
mhm,
And if not, I'm trying to get my mind and stuff right so that I'll be in the right place at the end of
right,
the end of my lifespan, so that even if it's my time, I'll be in the right place spiritually, so that I won't go to place that they talk about in Revelations
mhm.
where the burns and the worms and all the
Hmm.
other good stuff. And like
The
I said,
only
man, I'm
place I
trying
want to
to
go is
yeah.
that upper room.
That
The
upper
upper
The
room.
Upper
upper
room.
room.
Where who?
The
Where
upper
who was that?
room.
Where I know.
But see, that's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Back in 9/11, when 9/11 happened, that was a big trauma for me. And when I was in the military, and I had to go, I had to go temporary duty somewhere, and they was like, "Well, you got to fly." Nope, I will drive. I will take the 2 3 days. Y'all gonna pay me for it anyway, so it doesn't matter. I will take the 2 or 3 days and drive and get there, and I'll take 2 or 3 days, come back, and I'm fine with it. It
So,
just bring that
real,
same trauma back.
so real quick, let me just go over some numbers. So, just what I was able to pull real quick. In 2023, there were 16.3 million flights total. I didn't get a chance to get the number for 2024, but in 2024, over 4 billion people flew, and there was only 318 casualties. Now, that number is actually up from 2023, where there was 120 casualties. So, for a world population of billions, and, to have only those numbers, actually die because of airlines, I mean, it still kind of shows that,
The safest way to go.
airlines, but I think what Dave is saying is correct. It's like, you still have to be able to rely on your faith to know that,
Hmm.
everything's going to be all right. You're going to be all right. But also, um, if it's God's will, be ready.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
definitely, absolutely, 110%.
Yeah. Because, as you can see with this accident, um, things can happen just like that. People were just walking, shopping, going to get their normal dose of coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, getting off the bus, and then next thing you know, out of nowhere, the plane just crashed. They said that there were people who were walking around that were engulfed in flames.
Hmm.
Now,
That's
I've heard some
wild.
stories about body parts just kind of in different places. I
Hmm.
know there was debris in places, so if there was debris as far as Four Seasons Diner, I'm sure that there are also other things that were
Yeah, I
flying
heard.
around.
I heard about that. They said went through a
Hmm.
the window and hit some guys sitting down. I said, for
Yeah.
you to be that far and for debris to fly that far all the way
Hmm.
across the boulevard is wild. But they said stuff was falling from
Yes.
the plane too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to mention, like I said, like a friend of mine who has a business up there, his whole, like it was right there on the news. The
Hmm.
whole storefront of his business is gone,
Done. Yeah.
like gone. I'm like, yeah.
I know once I actually do the edits, I'm going to put some of that stuff into this video as well.
Hmm.
Um, so there's a few things I'm gonna add, but I think we've covered everything that we want to cover. So, our final thoughts. Anything that you want to say?
Tampa Bay is not in the Super Bowl.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you
The
something. You
Tampa
see how
Bay
you
Bu-
had to find
No, no,
it.
no.
You see how you had to find
Let
it.
me tell you.
2 years ago, you didn't have to find it. It was broadcasted. Now you had to go find it. You had to go behind the chair.
Listen. Let me tell you something. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the only team to beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
But they
God
had
bless
Tom
you.
Brady. Whoa, stop, stop, stop. Now
What
wait a
that
minute.
mean?
Now hold
We
on.
was
They
still the
they
only team
had
to
they
beat him.
had Brady. They had Brady. Excuse me. They had
We were
Brady.
the only team to beat him.
But they had
Y'all got
they the
Jalen.
only
Y'all
team.
got
The only.
Jalen Hurts.
But you know
They
what
had
Y'all
though?
got the
Brady.
go right.
They had Brady.
That
They
that
Brady
team
is the
is not the
GOAT.
team that's there now.
And that
Listen,
team that we
Because I
that
can
team from
guarantee you that there's
2022.
no Buccaneers
No.
team that will beat them now.
Nope.
yeah,
I
let's
got
go
one
ahead and
better.
end this now.
And I'm
Amen. God bless. Amen. Amen. I fly my flag. Amen.
Amen.
you
Are we
still
talking
All
about
right.
amen so we can bury that? Or we said what we doing?
Mm.
you
Frank,
just put it.
any last words before we leave?
I mean, I'm definitely gonna pray for the families that
Some brotherly wisdom.
yeah, I'm definitely praying for the families that lost some loved ones. Dave, I do apologize. I mean, yeah, Dave, I apologize. My condolences to you for losing some, your brother-in-law and some other family members. I just want us to be, my brotherly wisdom for right now is like, I tell my kids something all the time: take God first, and like, long as we continue taking God first in these last and evil days, we should be okay. I mean, again, I pray that whatever the city is going to do, whatever FAA or whoever's going to do, let them do what they're going to do and get this, get this right. But in the meantime, between time, you know, we just got to continue doing what we do. You know, just try to be right as possible.
Yeah. Well, definitely keep God first and everything.
Mm,
Get into your word because this isn't just happening just because or whatnot. To tell you this stuff has to happen. There's more stuff as Elder Hudson stated. There's more stuff that has to happen.
definitely,
Uh,
definitely. Don't listen. The next podcast we're going to talk about the Eagles beating the Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna say the same thing like that y'all said about one thing about this like this world we live in. We gotta be able to be prepared physically and spiritually at the same time. Like I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you what I do. To be honest, like I keep my ear to the street. I follow what's going on. I listen to everything what's going on, but I try to prepare my mind spiritually at the same time, so I can pray for guidance of how to maneuver in this world. And that's what we had to do. We had to keep that communication line open with our Father. We got to keep our communication line open with God.
mhm,
And that's important so that we can continue as long as we're here to continue to live our lives in a prosperous way, in a safely way, as long as we're on this in this world. But
Hmm.
just like I said, in the scriptures say thinking not strange. It's not strange to me that all this stuff is going on. Now it might be a coincidence that all of a sudden you just start seeing two planes crash, but is it? I mean, it's not really, because look at all the deaths and all the crazy way things are happening now. So it's not strange. It might be more in our space now, in our space than usual. Like I said, we
right.
used to hearing all those things in other countries and different things, but it's not strange. It's just happening inside our own land, on our turf now. So I just gotta say,
Hmm.
just keep in mind, just like you said, whatever you believe, get in touch with your faith, get in touch with your God, and try to maneuver and keep yourself prayerful. And like I said, I pray for all the families and everybody who's affected by everything. So
All right. So we're going to end this here. Something. Fly,
E A
fly.
G L E S Eagles.
or we could do it. Or we could do it. No, I ain't even gonna pick on them. I'm about to say we could do it.
Hey, Tampa Bay, the Bucks know how to shine. Yes,
I
that's
don't know
right.
that song.
Oh man, hold on, wait a minute, hold on. I hear some static. I think your camera's going out there.
Hey,
All
Dre,
day,
when you
baby.
edit that, when you edit that, put an E at the end of the red part.
Yeah, make that green and not red.
Yeah, make that green. Make that green and red.
All right, so we out.
Deuces.